Welcome everyone to In the Conversation with Dr. Alex Khominsky and Dr. Daniel Maryanovsky. Alex and Daniel are the masterminds behind General Dental Residency, an education program focused on training early career dentists who wish to improve their knowledge and skills. In Australia, it takes between 5 and 7 years of study to gain the qualifications required to become a dentist. This is the base level of education needed, and it doesn't include any specialisation or on-the-job training that is so crucial to becoming a great dentist. In this conversation, we're going to discuss how Daniel and Alex identified a need in the education space and what they are doing to make positive change to the early career dentist's ongoing education experience. Hi Alex, Daniel, thank you for joining me today.
Absolutely.
We first met on a video call back in lockdown round 1. Since we met, I've watched as you both manoeuvred around every obstacle you've faced in the past 12 months to bring GDR to the dental community. Before we get stuck into your innovative view of the dental space, I'd love you to please share a bit about each of your backgrounds.
Alex, do you want to take it away?
Sure thing. My background's very straightforward. I graduated in Adelaide, studied over there, worked in Tasmania, South Australia, made my way back to Melbourne as a dentist, working at, for those who are Melbourne based, Alfred Hospital, hospital setting, and then worked in private practice and taught at Melbourne University. I'm kind of in the process at the moment of kind of further training and specializing. But I think in the midst of all that, there's been a journey of my own in terms of discovering where to go and what to do. And that's been part of the journey of why Daniel and I kind of got into GDR, because we felt that it was something that we ourselves needed and wanted to help people along on the same journey we were on.
Yeah, excellent. And myself, I grew up, I was a bit of a nerd, studied hard, really took school very seriously. I was an avid ballroom dancer, very big part of my life back then. Found my way into dentistry just by chance more than anything else, out at La Trobe University in Bendigo, where I still go back to do a bit of teaching. And so ever since, always tossed and turned with the concept of specializing, continuing education, and more recently found myself as a practice owner here in Melbourne. I've recently started up a scratch start dental clinic called Studio Smiles. And Alex and I have been working together on General Dental Residency for the last 1.5 years. And it's been an absolute roller coaster and so much fun. And we're really excited to chat to you about it today.
Oh, thank you. I can feel your excitement, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. So being early career dentists yourselves, you have said that you understand the importance of connecting with like-minded clinicians, and that after all, the journey through dentistry is a marathon and not a race. Why is that?
It's massive. I mean, from my perspective, from day one, when we graduated, and I think most graduates are like this, you finish dental school and you either see that as the start of your learning or the end. And for us, it was only the start. And a lot of that learning takes place through peer-to-peer interactions. I know a lot of people tell us as well as myself through our own experiences in going to CPD events, continuing professional development, that one of the best elements is actually connecting with others and going together along that lifelong journey of becoming an incredible clinician. Because, and we like to believe this very strongly, the end of dental school, it's just the start. There is a whole world of dentistry and learning that really takes a lifetime to master.
Yeah, and it's very much a mindset of who you are as an individual more than maybe dentistry even of itself. Are you someone who feels that once you've got a degree that's the start of your journey, and it's about discovering how do I maximize on that and how do I grow that and how do I develop and go along that journey and take on the opportunities that come? Or is it kind of where you become comfortable and settled? And so I think it's more of a mindset than a dentistry specific field.
Yeah, right. It sounds like it can potentially be a bit of a daunting experience. So yeah, it's great that you guys are delving into this a little bit more deeply. To date, you have taught more than 1,600 dentists. You've delivered over 100 CPD hours, and I understand that you run 11 courses, all whilst also working as clinicians yourselves. You seem to have built a fun, innovative and engaged community of 2,500 early career dentists. It seems fair to say that you're both very driven to reach as many early career dentists as possible, and that those dentists are only too eager to engage with you too. Do you get the sense that systemic changes on the horizon in the dental education space?
It's funny you say that. When you say all those numbers, it makes us sound very serious. I think the reality is, and I haven't actually heard those numbers myself. That surprised me just hearing that. Alex is normally the numbers guy. I think that, more than anything for us, it's all fun. And the amazing thing is that through all of the fun we've been having, we've been able to actually affect some serious change. And now more than ever, I think there's so much more attention in this space. And the space is the focus on dental students that are graduating, as well as recent graduates, and really pushing them, propelling them forwards. Because in the past, most continuing education, to be quite frank, it was inaccessible. It was expensive and very difficult to access, purely from a monetary perspective, but also just in terms of time off work. It wasn't made for the young clinician that's still trying to establish themselves. So there's a lot of exciting things changing. What do you think, Alex?
I think it's exactly everything that you've said, and also education that's geared towards that early career dentist, as opposed to having to make all the mistakes for 5 or so years and then figure out, okay, this is the path that's for me. Someone essentially trying to help them along that, initial period, to help them figure out, okay, well, these are my options. This is the way I can avoid a lot of mistakes that a lot of early career professionals make, and dentistry is no different to that.
Yeah, it's scary, but I think many people don't realize it's no different probably to starting out in any profession. When you're just a beginner, it sucks, for lack of a better word. I hope I'm allowed to say that. It's
you can
very
definitely
challenging.
say that. It definitely sucks.
It's very challenging. I think that, look, I haven't been in other professions myself, so it's hard to compare. But I think that mentally, physically, it is very, very demanding now more than ever with all the COVID-19 uncertainty. And, through what we do, we're lucky enough to be in contact with many, many young dentists and dental students. And certainly the feeling on the ground is that there is a lot of challenges to overcome. And so if there's anything we can do, it is really just to get Australia thinking differently as to how they approach the education and support that's available for young dentists.
Yeah. I think beyond just education, we want to be a movement for support from not just education, but also how to help other young dentists and early career dentists find amazing work opportunities, have mentorship and support. And it's a much more, holistic approach to it than purely education alone.
It does. It sounds like, and as I was mentioning, it sounds like you guys have built such a engaged community, and that really potentially carries on that collegiate environment that they've recently left, now moving into their careers. So guys, as we move into 2021, what is the number one piece of advice that you would offer to young dentists? How can they ensure that they're best prepared for the market out there and experience massive growth this year?
Daniel, do you want to give it a crack?
100%. Look, I don't think that this year brings unique challenges. And I think we're already seeing that the ability for young dentists to acquire new work, the graduations have been delayed. So most dental graduates in Australia are just beginning to enter the workforce now. So coming into February, March, as opposed to traditionally slightly earlier in the year. And we're already seeing that there are immense difficulties securing work. So in terms of the way they go about securing work, I think they have to be imaginative. I think they have to think outside the box and really be a go-getter. I don't think it's enough to just sit there and, tick the boxes online and apply through Seek and these different platforms. I think that you have to go out there, put yourself out there, network, make friends, and just make yourself available, make yourself known in your local area community. I think that that's really, really important. And when it comes to their journey itself, and this is something we're very big proponents of, self-reflection, and it's a very hard thing to instill in someone if they haven't already been used to doing so throughout dental school. And that's a big thread, for lack of a better word, throughout a lot of our education, is just the importance of documenting your work, reflecting on it. To be honest, we come across many fantastic, outstanding, world-class dentists. A lot of our speakers, local and international, are absolute superstars. And if there is one thread of commonality we've managed to identify amongst them, it's their incessant obsession, really, over self-reflection. They're the types of people to stay back late after work, looking through the photographs of their cases, looking through their notes, thinking cases through, and really not just themselves, but with others, really learning from the network that they're able to surround themselves with. So I think that's absolutely critical to succeed in a year like 2021.
The only things I'll add to that is, I think just following the thread of self-reflection, in dentistry in particular, it is a profession that's traditionally in small businesses. So one of the really key things is, firstly, ask yourself, where are you happy to work? And that fits in with your life goals of family, relationships, and where they meet. And then ask yourself, how far can I stretch that geographic location? Because essentially, the wider your reach geographically, the more opportunities you will have. And so that's going to be a really big aspect of giving you opportunities and looking, as Daniel said, outside the box of just, metropolitan Melbourne or Sydney, and going a little bit further.
Oh yeah, we're seeing fantastic opportunities pop up all across Australia, and people are always reaching out to see if any of our members, might be willing to move to some of these outer areas to learn and have great experiences, because it's tough out there. So I think being open to that is really going to set people up for success.
Absolutely. I mean, Alex, you mentioned that you've worked in quite a few locations around Australia. By the sounds of it, I guess that you would have had that experience yourself. Do you feel like that added to your offering as a practitioner?
I think absolutely. I think, between, I guess, South Australia, Tasmania, and Victoria, and my experience, and you will probably hear it's perhaps a similar vein to a lot of, especially early career dentists these days, is having that regional or interstate experience earlier on. I think that really lends to seeing how different businesses and different practices run and operate, and give you added value that then you can bring to wherever you decide to move on to next, or stay in that original location. So.
Yeah, and I guess not to mention the benefit of kind of getting a feel for where you might like to land eventually, as you noted.
Absolutely.
Well, Alex, Daniel, thank you for sharing your views on dental education. Is there anything else that you feel you'd like to cover off today?
It's been an absolute privilege, and Grace, we've known you for a little while now, and we love working with you guys, because I think that very similar visions, in the importance of education, and I know that's in part a lot of the content you guys produce is surrounding those topics, educating people on financial literacy. And if there's anything outside of the teeth, outside of the dentistry that we encourage our members to do, it's actually to seek out that financial advice, because for many of them, it's the first time they've got a proper job, and they're graduating younger and younger these days. I know certainly when I graduated, I didn't know how to put $2 together. And so
22 when you graduated, or 21?
Yeah, maybe 21. I can't remember now. I was quite young. So, they need all the support they can get. And so we love working with people such as yourself, and we think you guys are doing a fantastic job.
Oh, thank you. It's such a pleasure to work with you both as well. I really get the sense that, as much as graduating cohorts still have a lot to look forward to this year, with education programs such as yourselves, there's potentially not so much to feel apprehensive about either as they begin their careers. So well done. Thank you again for joining me today. We hope that you enjoyed this in conversation with Credabl, and look forward to hosting the next one. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.